This is Modern Gaming Culture. This series will attempt to highlight the phenomenon of PC, console, and mobile gaming and bring to light all of its phenomenal aspects. Let's take a dive together into the world of modern gaming and take apart its structure. Now, here's your host, Rotimi Osagi. Alright, this is Modern Gaming Culture. This is going to be episode 38, Modern Gaming Culture. So, been on a bit of a hiatus. So, I want to provide some news and updates since I've been gone. So, left off kind of unpacking what I feel like was a very important topic, right? Because this show is called Modern Game Culture, but this show is not fun and games by any stretch of the human imagination. The show is about very serious, real world topics and conversations. And so, after revisiting kind of that series I was doing, I felt like I did a pretty good job about it, with kind of going back and kind of assessing, who is this reaching, etc. And so I left off with that discussion. I think I'm just gonna kind of leave that discussion there, because when it comes to a lot of that material, that's for a very targeted audience, and so it's not something kind of far-reaching where I want to sort of expand it and kind of close it. And so I'm just going to leave that there and sort of start anew. So it's been about, I think it's been about 4 months or so, 4 or 5 months since I've posted in any capacity, anywhere. You can check. I have stuff on Rumble. I have stuff on YouTube. I have stuff on Minds as well. Haven't checked Minds recently though. I know people like Blair White, for example, are very active on Minds. Blair White is that kind of like influencer, that transgender influencer, goes on Alex Jones' show a lot and a whole bunch of other places. I was using that platform. I really like it. It's simple. It's easy to use. And I feel like they did a good job with it, right? And I want to be a champion of Minds, and so I've posted a little bit of Minds. I've posted on Twitter, but I feel like Twitter has really been established as sort of like a town square for the internet, and I don't really keep company that use Twitter, and so I don't find myself using that Twitter that much. I made a Twitter account. And I lost the email associated with it, and so I wasn't able to recover the account. Had a few hundred followers on it, but I'm not able to use the account anymore, and it doesn't really matter because I don't use Twitter. So there's people who I know who use Twitter, and I sometimes look at their pages, but besides that, I don't post. I don't frequent Twitter, and so, and of course TikTok, right? Where most of and also speedrun.com. Um, Speedrun is something I wanted to do a lot during hiatus, and I didn't really get time to. Um, and so, my No More Heroes speedruns are up there. But No More Heroes 3. But besides that, haven't really explored speedrunning that much recently. But I haven't really been exploring anything related to like esports or anything like that recently, anyways. Actually, because I've just been too busy. So that's what I want to get to. So I don't want this to be like a huge sledgehammer. Um, I have to keep a low profile, kind of airing out a little bit of dirty laundry here, but that's just the characteristics of what I do, right? And so it's not something where I can just kind of freely just do as I wish when it comes to posting on the internet, stuff like that, right? I have to be very careful. Cross my T's, dot my I's, as the saying goes. And so I don't want this to be too much of a sledgehammer. But see if I can give you guys a little preview here too. So I can go with the explanation. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see if I can do this. So what we're gonna be doing, and forgive me, it's not quite 100% center, but is I'm gonna be putting out some software. So launching software development company. Self-employed, so I'm gonna be the only one working for said company. So our Premiere software, my Premiere software is going to be called Elm Street, pictured here. And so hope that went out well, but yeah, so that's what we're gonna be doing. So been a long time coming. I think I did my first episode. That was, I don't remember. It's been a while. It's been a while for sure. It's episode 38. But I've been doing a lot of kind of preparations for my audience and for a lot of the traffic that I'm going to be getting to. When it comes to kind of the outreach, all that, you have to understand that largely to sort of give a little bit of a 50K foot view, right? When it comes to sort of traffic, right? I don't want to make this about race or anything like that, but when you look at people who are, Black or African American, generally the traffic that they get on the internet is, recently it's been very natural traffic, right? And so it's been something where that's sort of the trend. And so I don't, you have to realize that that's just kind of something you have to accept, right? Um, there's no need to reinvent the wheel, right? And so um, I'm going to be releasing the software, and so um, I don't want there to be a lot of blowback, right? I'm making it very clear, right? This is something where I've done a lot of analysis, market analysis, um, target audience, etc. And so I'm not, over my head, right? And over my head, right? Um, I'm putting it out way before I even put out the software, right? Um, and going to burn bridges. If it burns bridges, right? I'm not here to make friends, right? If I make a couple friends along the way, then it's an added bonus. But this is about participating, right? In what if you've been listening to what I've been saying since day one, right? Participate in the gaming arena, right? Conducting what I call internet oversight, right? The times I consider us to be living in, right? Which is the internet dark age. And the emergence of what I call the internet bully, right? Excuse me. This is what this is about. It's not about anything else. And so, I've been pretty vocal recently with, the small circle that I keep, right? And I don't know why there's just such a big deal about this, right? It shows that you just haven't been paying attention since I've been putting out material, right? And so I'm not the type of person who's going to, excuse my language, but talk shit, right? And not back up the shit talking that I did, right? And so this is merely showing you what I've done, right? So you have to look at it like I've been putting out all this content, and it's about gaming, and it's like you look at gaming, quote unquote gaming, right? And who comes to mind, right? Ninja, Tfue, right? Recently Jinxie, right? And so these are the names that you get when you ask people about gaming, about what they like about gaming, etc., right? Who they like in gaming. These guys are influencers at best, and I have choice words for them, but they're not necessarily gamers by any stretch of the imagination, right? They may play games and all that, but are they truly gamers, right? Is this truly what they, is this truly their purpose, right? Have they truly found purpose in what they've done, right? Do you consider them to be leading a purpose-driven life, right? These are questions that you need to be asking yourself when you are considering these things, right? So I just want to make that clear, right? When it comes to really kind of the arena of software development, right? What you find is generally, there isn't much movement, right? And so it's not something where you can sort of just be like, oh, how's software development going, etc., right? There isn't really a software development, so to speak, right? What you have is rollout of proprietary software and free and open source software, right? And if you look at the origins of the internet, the internet is a project from DARPA, right? That's the Defense Arms Research Project Association or something like that, of in America, right? With the American military, right? And so ultimately, you can trace a lot of the origins of a lot of these projects from that agency or agency. It's not association or agency. It's like Defense Arms Research Project Agency or something like that. From the early 1990s, right? And so all these tech companies, IBM, right, largely was one of the biggest companies in the world. Now you have NVIDIA, right? Money changing hands, right? These are not necessarily corporations that are trying to set up, right? It is a sort of like a political chess move, right? When IBM is kind of taking a back seat, firing a lot of its employees, right? Layoffs was a huge theme of the early 2010s, right? Where a lot of these companies were laying off large amounts of employees. People were just losing their whole livelihoods overnight. People going out of business, right? People losing their homes, their way of life, etc., right? And so that's sort of what has been the theme of, the information era, as it's been put, right? And so when it comes to a lot of these agendas, you have to really take a deep dive, right? It's not something you can kind of just examine from a surface level and expect to get the whole picture, right? So I'm just putting this out as sort of like a warning or an alarm, right? So people can get ready, right? So that when this drops, there isn't any suspicion or anything about, the nature of this project, etc., right? And so that people can really just take it as they will and not make such a big deal out of it like people around me have been doing recently, right? And so, yeah, you got the title, right? I can show you a couple related images if you want to, right? So this is what I'm proposing as like the sort of like intro screen, right? Which would be followed probably by some sort of progress bar. And then this is like a little promo, right? So you can see it's a very straightforward, very seamless kind of interface, which is what I'm going for, right? So nothing special, right? It's just, of course, right? It was kind of like a sledgehammer for me because I've been really, staying on my P's and Q's, and so, getting ready to put this software has definitely been a sledgehammer for me. So I don't want to be a sledgehammer for you guys, and of course, this is for you guys, right? I'm not making this, to sit on my trophy case or put in my trophy mat or anything like that. And so I want to be accountable to the people that I serve, right? And so, yeah, just wanted to put that out. So, yeah, this is going to be like a news and updates episode. So I'm just going to put it like that. And so, anybody's been listening, right? It's a little sweet treat. So this is my Morning Game Culture. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you.